Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Spiritually Fucked podcast. I am your host, Taylor Mulhollnad. From spiraling to spiritual, what is the point of this podcast? Well, the point is to share my spiral and how it brought me back home to myself, because a lot of times I hear when people are spiraling that you should stop spiraling and you should figure it out. And you should be doing this, and you should be doing that. And I just think it's all baloney. And I think if you're spiraling, you should find a safe space and you should fucking full on spiral. Because if you don't feel everything, you're missing the point. If it's coming through, it's coming out. Okay? I could say a bajillion quotes on it. Your breaking is only going to lead to a breakthrough. And right now, I'm fucking breaking. And, well, I was manifesting not breaking anymore. But I was fucking spiraling because I didn't know where I wanted to be, what I wanted to do, who I was. I let myself go there. I didn't just fix it or try to fix it or try to tune it out. I just let myself go there, and I found a safe space. I found some safe people to have those conversations with, or to let myself just express what I was feeling, because that way of doing it will only lead you back to yourself. Because whether you have someone reflect it back to you or you hear yourself out loud starting to spiral, you realize it's all just bringing you back towards yourself. Because if you look at a fucking tornado, like, the top, obviously it's huge, it's literally fucking spiraling and going, and it's picking up shit on the way, and it's throwing shit out, but at the end it's always literally at one point, and you just have to go through that process until you find yourself back again. And how that was for me is I just felt really lost, quote unquote lost. I'm like, I don't know what I want to do, blah, blah, blah. And I realized that it was such a gift that where I was in my life, where I could just sit and listen to all these insane thoughts. And I sat a lot in silence. And I think a lot of people really underestimate sitting in silence, because we are so structured to have distractions around us and to always have the TV on, or music on, or a podcast on, or reading a book, or Instagram, or just always having that dopamine hit, which those are all great and useful learning tools. But at what point are you listening to yourself? And I notice myself go through stages where I am reading a lot and listening a lot and like absorbing a lot of information, and then all of a sudden you need to just stop that and you need silence. And it's such a gift, because once you allow yourself to sit in silence, literally laying on your bed, laying on the floor with no music, nothing, just your thoughts, everything that you have been avoiding or using as a distraction to cover up starts to flood in. And that's what I was experiencing and I don't know if you've ever experienced this, where you're feeling a certain way, so we use things to cope. Whenever I was feeling sad, I would always listen to The Office or watch The Office, because it almost was like, obviously it would make me feel better because it's like so silly and I love it. Or I listen to music because I love it and it brings me those good feelings, but it was always covering up something I was avoiding. So when I started sitting in silence, I started to hear and feel everything that I was tuning out before. And so recently I've just allowed myself, because I just was feeling a ton, and instead of covering it up with reading a good book or reading or watching TV or whatever, which I do all those things, but, well, I don't read that much, but I like watching TV. I like listening to things. Hopefully you like listening to podcasts, because we're here. But I just sat in silence and I was like, oh shit, this is like some good information. Like, I swear, every time I just lay on my bed in the middle of the day and don't listen to anything, I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I'm in a plant medicine ceremony, because I can actually Like, I'm getting literally downloads of things that I just didn't allow before because I was always putting a door up with these external sounds. So how does this relate to spiraling? Well, when you are spiraling, seriously, it's telling you that something's not working. Because if you ever look at those tuning forks or know anything about sound therapy, it's that chaos creates coherence. And I'll try to link a YouTube video in the show notes. But if you've ever seen those sound frequency waves, it's like a bed. They show them at Joe Dispenza all the fucking time because this guy knows his stuff. It's like a plate, and it vibrates with certain frequencies, and it's like all these salt particles on the top are like jibber jabbering and shaking, and it's like it looks like chaos, and then as soon as the sound levels out, it like makes this beautiful pattern. And that's what's happening in your life when you're literally going through a chaotic state, because things have to fucking break and shatter and get all over the place for you to finally find that coherence. And so the chaos is coming up. You have to feel it fully. You have to feel everything that's coming up and uncomfortable feelings instead of trying to cover it with like antidepressants, or even like plant medicines can obviously help you reveal certain things in that uncovering or that chaotic state, but you have to integrate it. So if something is being shown to you, you can't just slap a toxic positivity or spiritually bypass it with an emotion or a mantra and just say, I'm okay, I'm okay. It's like, no, you have to feel it fully. This is why we're here. We're here as humans to feel and to explore these emotions that are coming up, because what's coming up is coming through. And so if you let yourself go there in a safe space, now if you're not in a safe space, this is where when we grow up and we were never in a safe space growing up, we were taught to shut our emotions down or not say how we really feel, and those start to fester in your bodies. And that's what I was experiencing with my health, quote unquote, issues. My health experiences in the past, they were just held on emotions that I was never able to express. So if you're not expressing, you're suppressing. And what does that lead to? Depressing. Like, do they rhyme on a coincidence? I don't know. But when something is coming up, you want to feel it fully, because if you suppress it, it's literally going to be packed inside of you like a fucking sandwich, and it's going to come out with a health injury. For example, my entire life, well, let's just give you a quick example. With my back in my last podcast episode, that was a great example, but this will be a whole podcast in itself if you don't know about it yet, but I went through menopause at 22. Okay, my ovaries literally died inside of me because I was missing a huge part of my life, and that was my femininity. And that whole area would just completely shut down because I was suppressing it. I said, I don't ever want to look at you again. My sacred sex organs, nope, not going to look at those ever again, because I had an experience in the past that made me shut down from that. And at 22, they were literally knocking on my door by being dead. They literally said, ding dong, we're dead. You need to fucking take your life and focus it on us for the next few years, because you've taken the past 22 years to completely shut us out. And that's the intelligence of our body, you people. Listen, our bodies are so smart. They're the smartest technology you will ever own in your life. When you have a malfunction or something's going on, they're going to give you a little ding. And that ding usually comes in really uncomfortable or quote unquote issues or diseases. Dis-ease, when your body is in dis-ease, it will come on as a disease. Like, you don't want it to make it to cancer, because that's when you really have suppressed a lot. And this can go deep, because it's like, well, then why do kids get cancer? Are they suppressing things? No, that's just the life they signed up for, and they wanted to learn at a very young age what it was like to go through that. And it's a whole nother topic. But for me in my life right now, our body speaks, baby. Okay? Body speaks. Remember that. And so where did this go? See, I just spiral, but I brought that up for a reason. when you don't feel your emotions fully, your body will feel them for you until you address them. And so instead of me, like, I could have took these feelings of sadness and depression I had for myself and just slapped a mantra on it, or went and got a day job that kept me preoccupied and busy, or just sat and watched TV all day, or just took up something that completely put a band-aid over those emotions. I could have started like fucking microdosing or something and just, you know, just stopped feeling those. Like, I could have done something that made me stop feeling those feelings. But if I didn't take the time to sit and feel those, they would have shown up later in my life. So thankfully, I'm at a place in my life, and I've created a life where I can sit and fucking lay on the floor and feel how sad I am. And then that sadness leads to, you know, oh, well, this sadness isn't now. This is sadness that I held back when I was fucking 10, when I wasn't able to share what I was feeling or whatever. And granted, I have tools that I can use when I'm feeling that way to get them out of my body, or I have tools and resources that I've put in my little toolbox of healing tailored toolbox, that I can use and grab whenever I'm feeling icky. And I know a lot of people don't have those, and that is why, part of it, why I'm here. I'm not going to try to fix you or tell you how to deal with those, but I'm going to tell you that if you're feeling something, like, don't just go to a doctor and tell them to fix you with a supplement, or not a supplement, but like a prescription, because you're just you're hijacking your healing. If you're feeling depressed and sad, that's not you. Your soul would never sign up for a life to be depressed and sad. It's just something you haven't uncovered yet. And I have a lot of compassion for people who don't have tools and resources like I do, or what I see my friends have, that, you know, granted, I'm thankful I'm in a community that supports this type of language, but I do have compassion for people who don't know what to do when they're feeling that. If they're depressed and they go to a doctor and they get on depression medication, I have compassion for that, and I am okay with that. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's because that's all they know how to do. Being here, and if you're listening to this, I just only want to tell you that your soul would never choose a life of depression. And if you are feeling depressed, or you're spiraling in your life, or you feel lost, it's only guiding you back home to yourself, and it's only going to lead to breakthroughs if you allow yourself to feel those emotions fully, because they're clearly telling you something. And I see a lot in out there that when someone goes through a breakup, they usually go on antidepressants. And I have compassion for those people, and there's nothing wrong with that, because that's what they needed to do at the time. But it just means they're not grieving fully what is coming up, because no shade, you're going to be depressed. You just broke up with someone. Like, you're not going to be happy, okay? You're going to be sad, and you're going to feel horrible. Even if it's 6 months, a year after that breakup and you still feel sad and horrible, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just there's something inside of your body that is still holding on to that emotion. And it probably wasn't fully that breakup. It probably was something that happened to you when you were 5 or 6 that this breakup triggered, or it reminded you of it. And so when you go on things that put a band-aid over that, you're hijacking your opportunity to heal. And so when you're spiraling, it should be one of those times when you make it a fucking spiritual experience, and you go back to those practices that bring you back to yourself and bring you back into your body. So with this last spiral, I was just like, who am I? What do I want to do with my life? Like, I'm feeling all these things, and it's like, okay, what is always something that helps me? Well, I got to get back into my body. How do I get back into my body? Grounding, nature, fucking swimming in the creek, I don't even like hiking, you guys. I'm not gonna lie. I don't love hiking, okay? I love walks in nature, but hiking is hard. Maybe this is why my back broke last month, because my ass is just weak, but hiking is hard. But I do it because it puts me in nature, and I do it because it connects me with my family. But just got to go back to things that put you in your body. And then once you're in your body, you can like really feel like, where's this emotion coming from? And for me, what I like to do is I like to take pauses on things and really work on like cleansing my body. And earlier this year, I was doing a lot of eating, whatever, traveling a lot. And I just was like, I need to fast. So I did a lot of fasting under supervision of myself. It was very safe fasting. And damn, just like the dedication of and devotion you're putting into fasting. And I know the Bible talks a lot about fasting, and my friend really inspired me after her beautiful, like, religious fast, I guess you would say, or spiritual fast she did. I was like, I want to fucking do that. So I was feeling called to fast and just really giving not only your system a break, your head a break, and the devotion to yourself, because I was like, I'm feeling like fucking ass. I'm going to starve myself for a few days. Like, I'm devoting to clear and clean my vessel so I can be optimal. I could be the most optimal self. And I need to fast from anything that's not mine, because I felt very infiltrated with a lot of things that were not me, and that's what happens when we're always watching TV, or we're always on Instagram, or we're always listening to stuff. We're just like so impounded. We're literally pounded with things that are outside of us, external things. And it's like, do you really think that? You listen to one podcast and then you start living that one podcast, which I hope you listen to podcasts because you're here. But if you start like living and breathing only what other people think and say, it's like, who are you actually? Like, do you actually live by that? Like, do you really resonate with that? Or are you just doing it because an influencer said it? And I think I see this a lot too with, everyone's doing ayahuasca now. So everyone thinks they need to do ayahuasca. And it's like, did ayahuasca literally dial you on the phone and call you up? Or are you just doing it because everyone else is doing it? For a long time, ketamine was like the biggest fucking talk. And I was like, I want to do ketamine. And then I really sat with myself and was like, do I really want to do that? And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I later did it, but at the time I was like, no, everyone's talking about it. So I thought I needed to do it, but I sat with it and was like, nope, this is not me. This is just group mind virus. There's this group mind virus out there. It's kind of like oh my God, it's like fashion trends. Everyone's doing this fashion trend. So I need to do this fashion trend. And it's like, do you really want to do that fashion trend? That's one thing I really am proud of myself, and I really stay in my own fashion trends because I literally have a certain style. You will never see me in anything that's quote unquote big unless like I like it, because like I don't do what everyone's doing. I don't give a fuck if it's in fashion. If I don't like it, I'm not wearing it. And that's just literally how group mind virus works. And it's not your fault. It's not your fault. Okay? You're perfectly human to feel that. But is that really something you want to be doing? Like, you have to really sit with yourself. Okay, back to fasting. When we cleanse ourselves, and you don't have to fast to do this, but when we start detoxing ourselves from things that are no longer us or are not us, we start to go back home to ourselves. So when I started to spiral, I started to fast. And, this is where combo, I'm a diehard for combo. I literally live and breathe this medicine. It's like so grounding. It puts you in your body. There's no DMT, so you're not going out into space. You're just like in your body. It's detoxifying. It's gives you a bunch of peptides, and everyone's paying for peptide therapy now. And I'm like, okay, well, you just get peptides from the jungle by doing combo. But I was doing some combo, and then, there's parasite cleansing, and I was all doing whatever I felt called to. I wasn't trying to strip myself. I was trying to come back home to myself by using these tools to help release anything that was no longer me. And you could do this by fucking saging yourself. Like, this is just how I was doing it internally, because I'm very connected and very in my body. And so what these fasting and these practices were doing is just, they were cleansing my physical vessel, which, hello, my soul lives in my physical body. So it was also cleansing my soul. And then I started doing Sananga. And if you know what Sananga is, It's intense. And if you don't know what Sanonga is, it is these eyedroppers from the jungle. And it's a very intense, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful medicine, but it's fucking intense. And it comes from a root. Comes from a root in the jungle. And I believe the ones I were using were from Brazil. And I think I got a pretty intense, potent bottle of it. But I was doing that, and what it does is it's really good for cleansing the vision. And boy, was my vision cleansed, because I had my heart set on who I thought I had to be. And with this medicine, it's all about like clearing the vision, detoxifying your pineal gland, blah, blah, blah. It cleared the vision of who I thought I was supposed to be. And who I thought I was supposed to be is a little bit similar to who I know I'm supposed to be. They're kind of quite the same, but I just think in different paths right now. And so with this spiraling and this lost situation, I just dedicated my life back to myself. And again, I am a realist. I know not everyone can just like throw out their life out the window and just do all these practices to dedicate their entire life to themselves if they're going through a midlife crisis. But there are things you can do. And if you've ever been to a Joe Dispenza event, you'll know that it's fucking dedication and commitment. And it is not an overnight fix. My fucking ovary situation, from 2022, I didn't feel complete when I was 22 and my ovaries were quote unquote dead inside of me. That healing journey wasn't quote unquote complete, or I didn't feel complete with my ovaries. Like, they didn't start working by themselves again until 4 years later. So for 4 years, every single day I had to dedicate my life to that part of my life, like that area in my body. It wasn't an overnight fix. We're so used to Amazon coming the next day. I am too. I am a avid user of Amazon, and if something can't get here in 2 days, I'm like, what? What do you mean you can't get here in 2 days? But your healing's not gonna be an Amazon delivery. It's not gonna come overnight, and you have to commit to yourself, even if it's fucking 10 minutes a day. I see you guys. I know people. One of my best friends works 80 hours a week, and I'm not even exaggerating. She has like 20 jobs. She still puts in effort weekly for herself, and I admire that so much. And you have to do that for yourself if you want change. And it's not going to be an overnight fix, but what is going to fix it is feeling it. You have to feel what's coming up. And if you are feeling a lot and you don't have a safe space for it, I really hope you can find that for yourself. And here are maybe some tools to help you find it. Find a safe friend. Literally, you need one safe friend that will not tell you that you're wrong, that will not try to fix you, that will literally just hold space for you to vent or to feel your emotions out fully. You just need that friend or someone. And if you don't have that, fucking put up your phone. I recently have been doing this, is just recording myself go off, and then I'll watch it back and I'll be like, because it's a reflection. Either you have someone reflect it for you back, or you do it for yourself. And then I start to hear myself and I'm like, that's stupid. Why did I ever say that or think that? And then it's gone, because I acted it out and I expressed it and I let it out. And that's what you don't need to do, but that's what could help you. I'm not telling you should do anything, because I'm not here to fix you or tell you how to live. But I am going to tell you what's worked for me in my dramatic moments, and maybe it will spark a little help in you. And so if you're literally spiraling in life, or you're feeling a lot, congratulations. You're a human, and it's beautiful, and it's also fucking shitty, and it's painful. And trust me, I've been there. I've bled so many times, but you have to let the wound bleed for it to become a scar. I just made that up. I don't know if it makes sense. But if it's a wound, if it's open, and you can put as much band-aids on it, but it's gonna heal on its own time. And so I just heard my mom walk in, so I'm gonna wrap this up. So if there's one thing I could leave you with this, it's that if you're feeling a lot, congratulations, and feel it fully, because the feeling leads to the fixing, and you're not broken. You're just having your breakthrough. Okay, so I'm gonna leave you with that, and I'm gonna catch you another time. So okay, bye.